I started seeing forward movement in my career when I stopped sharing checkboxes and task lists in my one on ones or in meetings. But when I started sharing ideas and how I got to a certain point by way of my thought process, how I strategized a certain situation, how I strategized something within my team, how I led in a situation, that's when I started seeing real forward movement in my career. If I was asked to the table, I started to realize I didn't need to talk so much about task lists and what I accomplished. I needed to start talking about um, the ideas and processes that I was using, and then delegating most of those tasks. A lot of my day in management was spent around thinking through ideas, envisioning, um, bouncing ideas off of others and with other managers. I started to shift from thinking so much about my task list, and I started to shift into envisioning what I wanted for the team, how I wanted the team to move, how the team was going to move forward, what I was going to do in the next year. I really started thinking through ideas. And that really began to shift not only my mindset and how I move, but shift my career. I started getting invited into leadership meetings, and um, when I stepped into regular leadership meetings, I started to put those ideas out there. Now the ideas weren't always accepted, but I started to be known for sharing my ideas versus my task list. And I can really appreciate that. It has really helped me to make the switch in my career. And let me say this, you don't need a title to be a leader, but it did help me make the shift from just checking off tasks and task lists and all of that to a leadership mentality. I was a manager for 6 years, almost 7 years, and this mindset that I'm talking about really helped me step into the shoes of leadership. So I just wanted to share that tonight. When you get invited to the table, not if, think about sharing your ideas, your processes, your visions for whatever it is that you are working on, because the tasks are going to be there. What I've learned from sitting at tables with leaders is that they don't talk about task lists, they talk about ideas. They talk about how they're going to move the business, or they're going to move the bottom line forward. And they do that through ideas. They do that through collaboration. They do that through talking things out. They do that through understanding what the bottom line is for the company, the corporation, the nonprofit, whatever it is. And then at the very end of the meeting, they say, okay, this is what has to be done. Then they hand that off to the manager for the manager to break down and break out those tasks for different teams. So get your ideas together. If you are wanting to pivot into leadership, start practicing what your ideas are around what it is that you do, and be able to share that, be able to articulate that when you get to the table. I'll talk to you soon.